Hello, and welcome to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome back. It feels so long since I've seen any of you or chatted with any of you. So this is great that I'm here today. We've done a couple of guest shows and had some great conversations, awesome things leading into this season of life that we're in right now. Happy December. It's hopefully everything is going smoothly for you and coming out of the Thanksgiving into the holiday craziness. And I hope that you're finding a lot of joy in where you're at right now. So that is my intro because I feel like I've been gone for so long just because we've had so many guests. So I haven't been able to really express some of the things I've been thinking. Um, so welcome. And I am going to talk today about something that has hit me really hard over the last maybe couple of months. I'm going to say a lot of things hit me really for like a couple of months, and I kind of sit in those feelings and really sit and ponder where I'm at and where things are going and what's happening. And when I get to the point of processing and fully getting my decisions made and out there, I share them with all of you. So today's topic is going all in on yourself. And um, I'm here mostly today to talking to moms, regardless of if you're a single mom or a stay-at-home mom, have a career woman, whatever that looks like, whatever title of mom that you hold. Um, that's kind of who this is geared for today. But dads, anybody listening, any dads out there, or um, anyone just trying to figure things out, this also applies in the long run. But as a mom of two, I know these feelings all too well. And so I know there are some of you out there that can relate, more so than more so than I think that is out there. I think that every demographic of sorts can relate in some way, but mostly for moms because the as time goes on, um, the more kids you have, it's easier to put yourself farther and farther on the back burner and really just kind of, um, like, I really need new, like a new pair of pants. I'll just put it off. I'll struggle into this pair of pants for however long, whether it's they're too big or too small, you're just going to kind of stay in them as long as possible without really having to feel like you're spending money there or, um, kind of that feeling of giving away something that could go somewhere else. Maybe not necessarily for a full betterment of something, but it could go toward maybe a kid's sport that they play, extracurricular activity, um, sports, just different activities that your kids have, different needs that your kids have, um, even a partner or your spouse, things that they've got. It's easier to just say, I can go without for a little bit longer. I can go without for a little bit longer. I can go without for a little bit longer. And you get to the point, I'm going to go back to clothes because it's a really simple and very tangible analogy. But if you have that pair of pants that it's torn, the seams are torn, the buttons popped off, you can't, like, you're doing everything to try and get yourself to stay and make these pants last for as long as possible, and you're at the finally at the point of there's no physical way that they're going to last any longer, but you're still going to push it a little bit longer because you don't still aren't ready for um, spending that money on something for you because it kind of feels like you're being a little bit selfish in that way. And so we're going to hit on three things today. One, um, really what it means to go all in on yourself and trusting that and doing that thing, and that it's not selfish to do something like that of your own. And then last but not least, we're going to combine the two and what happens, how you blossom outside of that. And I know that this is a mindset, um, really trying to get our mindset wrapped around this, and this does apply to your mindset in this. in this space, but it also applies to some physical things as well. So we're going to kind of touch on both of those. So first, we're going to go on what it looks like to do something of your own. I think that's a little bit easier to kind of digest at first, in that when you step into the role of a mom or a parent, and then whether spouse or partner or not, whatnot, that you've got, all of that as part of your life, find that you have extra, all these other things to worry about, that yourself, it's easier to just say, I can wait, I can wait, I can wait, because this person needs this and this person needs this. And putting yourself on the back burner, we've talked about it a couple episodes of, just kind of goes with self-care, that you're being on the back burner, that doing that self-care, it feels selfish because it's 20 minutes away from something, from this. It may be a half an hour away from that. It may be an hour away from, taking away from like a bedtime routine or something like that, that feels like you're robbing people of you, robbing people of your experience, if it's your family, of your comfort, of familiarity, in that. And in some way, it's slightly relinquishing control. That, like for me, to have my husband help with bedtime at times seems like, oh, that's, you're not quite doing it in the same routine I do it, so it's not going to work the same, or that it's not going as well as it should be, or something like that, that you kind of, you want to creep in and start taking control of what that looks like, and stepping in and saying, oh, no, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what needs to be done. It has to go in ABC order, even if it doesn't necessarily need to be that way, but it's been done that way for so long. And part of me feels that if I'm not there to do it, then I kind of have lost part of my place, my own role, my place in that space with my kids. And so it's one of those things I look at and be like, oh, if I'm not there, then they're not going to want me to be, like, they're going to be asleep, and then it's going to be sad for me, and they're not going to be, they're not going to want to hold me in the morning. They're going to kind of gravitate more toward dad, and a whole bunch of negativity, negative thoughts that flow in my head, and thoughts that are so not even true. But it's kind of, that's what has played for so long in my mind, as I was trying to go for, like, those self-care moments, or doing something that was just for me. And part of my story is that I woke up one morning. This is kind of the start of my journey, excuse me, that into where I'm at right now, and this beautiful show that I have, is that I woke up one morning getting ready for my corporate job, and all of a sudden, just kind of like, and the night before, I had gotten some news that my family had to be started through an IVF process. So everything just kind of like was weighing on me at one point. And I was looking in the mirror thinking I was totally failing at life. I was not going to be the person I wanted to be or imagined I would be. I was not going to be in the place I imagined I was going to be in. That my 5-year plan seemed kind of on track, but now it was completely thrown out the window. It didn't matter. And that I just started nitpicking just everything in my life, and I looked at myself and I'm like, I don't even know who you are anymore, because all of these things, all of this news has changed overnight. And that was my wake up call to being like, my life is not not a thing where I just have to go through the daily motions and hit these checkpoints of, okay, I've gone to school, check. I've moved, I've gotten married, check. I've had a kid, like I'm having kids, check. I've stayed in a career for X time, check. Like all of these things that are, we feel like society has put as check boxes and things that we need to have in our life. And I felt like I was failing because I wasn't able to check some of those boxes off anymore. And it really stressed me out. So I started doing some work, some mindset work, some shadow work, all of these things, and realized that I'm okay. right where I'm at. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I don't have to match any check boxes in what society says because my check boxes for my life are being met in that way. And it's kind of that hard to differentiate between the two sometimes of, well, I'm supposed to be following this pattern and really I'm following this different pattern. So it's different. And so it feels that I'm doing something wrong in that. And taking care of myself fell into that missing that those check marks, those patterns that I thought I had to be in. And I kind of became a drone a little bit, kind of a robot, just always going through the motion, not really having anything different. And as I started all of this work, it was going, okay, little changes, little changes, little changes, and to the point where I remembered who I am, remembered what I wanted in my life. I remembered what was really important to me, what my core values are, and what things really resonated with me, the things that didn't resonate with me anymore, and really found my person again, me as a person. And that led into me having my children, and my little guy is 3, and so he went through COVID with everybody else. So it was really kind of a transition for me when he was home all the time and I'm home all the time. So it was the two of us together that I started to step back a little bit more and being like, well, you're all like, you need everything of mine. You don't need anything else. Like I'm that person for you. I'm your everything. So I'm gonna not fall back into those same patterns that I had. And it was at that moment of being like, I've done all of this work and now I'm giving it up. But I stopped myself and knew that I needed to go back to the things that I knew to make me the person that I am, because I am still an individual inside of motherhood, inside of being a wife, inside of being a daughter, inside of being um, like every other role that I play, right? Part of your community, friend, family member, all of that. I'm still an individual inside of all of those roles. So that started the whole thing of coming back to this whole topic of going all in on yourself. So now we've kind of gone through like you're in this state of taking care of yourself, kind of feeling like you're always putting yourself on the back burner, learning that it's not selfish to take care of yourself. You hear it in the radio a lot of Pinterest quotes, Instagram. I've seen a lot too. Is that self care is not selfish. We do have an episode on that touches on that a lot. That self care is something that is good for you. You actually become a better person. You become a better mom. You become a better um, whatever role that you play because you've actually taken the time to fill up your own cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. We've also seen that everywhere else, splattered across kind of all different types of media platforms, that you can't pour from an empty cup. And so if you're empty, you can't pour negativity out, like negatively out. So you have to fill up your cup and you have to find those things that fill up your cup, because what your kids do, what other family members do, what other friends do of yours, being with them and that activity might fill up your cup, but it's not necessarily something that is specific to filling up your own cup. So thinking about that, taking care of yourself is step one. Finding those moments to um, really find that self-care moment, fill up your cup, find new passions, find your old passions, whatever that looks like. We've touched on all of these topics over the last year. That's kind of crazy to say. We've touched on all of those topics that you can revisit in the library, but they're there. Those are the steps of stepping into it. So going all in on yourself, what does that look like? Is that making an investment in yourself, in growth and development? Maybe you're making an investment in yourself to start a business. Maybe you're making an investment in yourself to real estate, that like get a new real estate piece of real estate, or buying your first house, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're making that investment. Maybe it's investing in something that is specifically for you in your own personal growth and development. Maybe it's just a coach that's trying to help you kind of figure out your path in life, figure out where you want to go, kind of get ready for the future, whatever that looks like. So investing in yourself is huge. and going all in on yourself. Think for a minute, especially as a parent, that you if your kids are sick, you're all in. You're there for them. If whatever activity they're in, you're like, we're going to we're going to accomplish this no matter what it is. You're in love with it. I'm going to help you succeed and excel in the best way possible to making that happen. Your your nutrition, you're all in on that of like we're going to eat healthy or we're going to eat this type of way and we're going to really like go for it and stay in a healthy category so that we can last longevity in that way. You're in on your routine, whether like your movement routine, whether it's walking, whether it's an intense workout, whatever that looks like for you. Yoga, daily kid play is also a great form of workout. Whatever that is for you, but you're all in on that. You're all in on those things of watching your kids learn, watching um, your yourself kind of grow in different ways, but you're willing to go all in on everyone else and what their dreams are and what their goals are. And you're there to be their cheerleader, you're there to be their support system, you're there to be the just their everything really. And when it comes down to it, are you all in on yourself that way? Think about that for a minute. I'm going to kind of let that sit for just a second of, are you going all in on yourself? Yeah. Is kind of an intense feeling of, are you in the same category of going all in as you are for something else in your life or someone else in your life? That taking that step on yourself and taking kind of betting on yourself a little bit that it's all going to work out and everything's going to be fine, and the unknown is scary. We know that taking that leap of faith is going to be worth it. That going all in on yourself is going to be the thing that will push you over the edge? Or is it when you look at it kind of like, ooh, gives your guts a little bit of a like really tightens them up, kind of feel anxious, get those sweaty hands, that reaction of it's not where we're supposed to be at the moment. And I found that sitting in those feelings is when it's the time for you to go first, to to go all in, that you're never really ready. I could sit and tell you from my story that before starting, I've started two businesses. I've let them fall and die. They weren't authentic to who I was, and so I really couldn't get behind them. I really wasn't going to. I wasn't putting in the effort I wanted to put in there, and so I just let it go. I let them die. It was something that um, just kind of I wasn't really in love with until I started Beautifully Blooming. I found what I really wanted to do. I found what lit me up. I found my passion for it. Um, but going into that was me taking that leap of faith and saying, I'm going all in on my dreams. And it wasn't for the faint of heart. That's saying I'm going all in on just me. This is something that is just mine. It is something that lights me completely up. It is something that fills up my cup, which allows me to pour the spillover to my kids, to my husband, to my family, to my community, and my clients and my students. Just really allows me to feel like I have feel like I found my purpose. But it took the moment of me stepping out onto into that unknown and being willing to say, I'm ready, even though the thought of being ready was not there. Because I could have said, I need to wait until I have X amount of money. I need to wait until I have lost baby weight. I need to wait until, yeah, this time, this specific time. And when those times came or those things came, it it always changed into something more. It was always like, I need X dollars more, or I need to be at this point in my health journey. I need to be here for this. And I could have pushed ready for years. I could have pushed ready to ready to start a workout plan, ready to start my business, ready to just start learning and growing. I am a person that loves to learn, and just kind of the school of life was great, but I still needed a little bit of something to just kind of keep me fueled and going. So I could have stopped and said, I'm not ready for investing in any sort of personal development that way. And if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would still be waiting. I would still be in that waiting place of feeling like I'm ready because I would keep pushing myself back farther and farther and farther until I never really was. And I never do it anyway. In complete honesty, I never would have really done it anyway. I would have never gone in on what that looked like. So going all in on yourself, what does that look like to you? I want you to think about that as we take a quick commercial break. Um, what does going all in look like to you? You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the number one internet talk network. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the number one internet talk network. Okay, welcome back. After sitting in that question of what does it mean to go all in on yourself, I would actually love for you to send me your emails and tell me what this looks like because I'm really curious what that means to everybody because everybody has a different definition of things, and going all in on yourself looks something different to all of us. So for me, going all in on myself was taking a leap of faith in not only investing in starting a business, but investing in my own personal growth, my own personal journey into getting to become the coach that I am, the business owner that I am, and really finding those things that lit me up inside that really filled up my cup, that allowed me to technically find freedom in motherhood and being able to say, tonight I need to be with my friends. Today I need to have some time that's just mine, that where I'm not distracted or being pulled in a bunch of different directions, where I just needed to be able to focus. And being able to it increased my ability to reach out and ask for help, which is not something that is innately a strong point for me, and I don't think it's a strong point for a lot of people. We're willing to give as much help as possible, but asking for it is really hard, and so it's given me the freedom more to ask for help and be willing to search that out when I really felt like I needed to fill up my cup because I wasn't able to spill out more into my family, into my kids, into my community, everything like that, that what I was giving was not my best, was not uh, my 100%. It was not the energy and the love and the compassion and all of those things that I really want to give out into the world, into those that are around me. It was that wasn't there. The energy wasn't there. I was pouring literally from an empty cup. And so being able to take that and say, through going all in on myself and investing in that journey and knowing what that is saying, okay, I know that this is kind of my breaking point. I know what it looks like, and I know how to mitigate those things and say, oh, I'm starting to get a little low, and this is really kind of what I'm really craving, and what will help me get back to kind of that point that I always want to stay at, that level I want to stay at, so that I can keep pouring more and more from to all those around me and to those that are in my space. So that is what going all in on myself looks like. It was taking that leap of faith, and I'm still taking leaps of faith every single day. Um, one one investment on my business or going in on myself was not the end of it, right? There's still more that I'm learning, more that I'm growing into, more that I'm taking on and understanding, and that includes saying, okay, I need somebody to kind of walk this path with me a little bit, teach me some things, that it's still an ever growing thing for me to want to learn and grow, that that investment is paying paying for itself in a weird way, and saying, I've gone all in on myself to get this far. Now I need to make it to the next step. Am I willing to go all in on myself again to get to that point? It's as you go through life, I think that your journey is always, am I going to go all in on myself? Am I going to invest in myself, whether it's monetarily, whether it's energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever that looks like? Are you going to go all in and put in all the effort? Or are you going to get to the um, point and just say, I can either keep going or I'm just going to stay here? I think of like professional athletes, and if they were just like, you know what, I'm just going to stop at high school basketball. I want to go to the NBA, but I'm going to stop my skills at college basketball or high school basketball. That gap that they're missing could be the point of make or break. It could be that effort of, I'm not going to make it to the NBA because I only only stopped growing my skills at high school. I never kept going in that. And that's where this journey of life leads us. I believe, this is my opinion. So this is what I think, that when you're going through life, as you go through and you get into a spot of, um, I'm going to get in a serious relationship with somebody, then you're going all in on that relationship. You're going all in that it's going to work out. Things are going to go well. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Um, circle of life in that, but and that's the circle of life in everything. But you went all in. You went all in on that relationship to get everything that you needed out of that. Or it could grow into that you're married and you have a wonderful partner, and it's still investing in your relationship every single day. You can't be day one of when you first met, 8 years down the road. There's a lot of things that happened in between that has grown you to a different person, and so it's grown your relationship to that different person as well. And it's the same with your own self, is that where you were at when you were, I'm 35, so where I was at when I was 20, where I was at when I was 25, where I was at when I was 30, where I'm at now is very completely different people. The experiences and things that I've done in investing on myself and going all in on myself has made me the person that I am now. Are those traits are still there, but different experience have enhanced certain things. I've set healthier boundaries. I have created a healthier mindset around um, certain aspects of my life of that's where I want to be and where I want to grow. That that doesn't seem so far off and so astronomical to ask for. That my dreams really are not that, even though they are big and grandiose, I do have those, but I do have dreams that are smaller and more achievable. And it's not out of the norm for me to think those things and to dream big for those things. That just as a person, I've grown in so many ways. That's where I was at when I was 20 to now at 35. I'm not the same person, but I had to do different things and go all in on myself in different ways to get to where I'm at now. And I've given energetically, I've given monetarily, I've given spiritually, I've given physically, I have given mentally, a combination of all somewhere in there at the same time. But it's something that I look back on now, since December is kind of a season of reflection leading into January. But as I've reflected over the past couple of months, when I started going through this journey of going all in on myself, I had a moment of, okay, I've grown to this point. Now, where do I go? Do I keep, do I stay here or what else do I need to invest in to go all in myself, go all in on myself to make my dreams come to life? So this is what started the whole pattern. Um, but as I've reflected over where I've come and how far I've come, that it was eye opening to me that the small things where I just said, yes, I'm going all in. I'm going all in on my business. I'm going all in on my students. I'm going all in on my clients. I am going all in on my family and what I want my family life to look like. That going all in requires different things, but they're all tied into uh, the same big dream and goal that I have. And so it did require me to sit myself and look at myself in the mirror, give myself a little bit of a pep talk, and a really kind of heartfelt sitting in my heart for a little while, and really those feelings of reflection and nailing down what those are and what I really wanted out of it. And the end result came to being, it's time to go. You need to bet on yourself. It's time to go all in on yourself. And I think at times we do get stagnant in that okay, we're going through ups and downs, like we're going through the daily motions, that it looks like we are going all in on ourselves when really we're just kind of stagnant. So it takes a second to recommit to what that looks like for you. There could be, maybe it's recommitting to an exercise routine or a healthier routine. Maybe it's recommitting to that business that you have or your job that you want to be in. Maybe you want that promotion, whatever that looks like. Recommitting to stepping up that standard of excellence for yourself to get that next spot. Maybe it's giving energetically in more of becoming that better partner in or spouse in your relationship, just caring a little bit more for their needs, what that looks like. Everybody's journey is a little bit different, and where you're sitting right now is going to be something different. But reflect today on what that looks like. Where have you been thinking you're all in, but really you've kind of just been like, I'm coasting right now? You started out like really strong and gung ho, and you're kind of coasting into wherever it's been, however long it's been, wherever you're going, you're just kind of coasting at the moment, giving your minimum effort. Do you need to recommit to it, or is it something that doesn't serve you anymore and so you can let it die? And know that letting it die is okay. That's part of growth. That's part of saying this is what's good for me, this is what is not good for me, this serves me, this doesn't serve me. And saying yes to those things that are going to light you up, give you a lot of energy, fill up your cup, do all of those things that are needed. You're going to feel better at being able to go all in on those things. It's really hard to go in all in on something that you look at really grudgingly and be like, "Oh, that is not a place I want to be. That's not something I even care to do. It's not something that I ever wanted to do in my life." Those things, it's okay to say no and let those feelings die and put your energy and going all in somewhere else where your growth is going to happen. Life is all about growth. It is all about um, learning and moving along. We're all learning how to. I heard actually a really good quote on a podcast I listened to, um, that there are 8 billion people in the world right now, I think. But of the population of the Earth, that's the how many worlds there are right now, because we're all creating our own. We're all part of one big world, but we're all creating and co-creating different worlds together. That um, everybody's perspectives are different, and so and where you're at in the world and everything like that, and so you're co-creating and creating your own world. Your reality is your perception, and that is where you have other people in that space also that help create your reality, but that's your world. Your reality is your world, and there's however many people on the planet. I believe they said 8 billion in the podcast I listened to, but forget my numbers. But the 8 billion people, there are 8 billion worlds here on this planet, and we're all trying to work together in that, in what that looks like. And so that does take a lot of growth, a lot of learning, and that does take you going all in on yourself in making your world and your what you want your reality to be, your perception. You want to be able to give that, make whatever your dreams you have happen, whatever dreams you have in your mind, things that you maybe fantasize about, that you want them to become real, you want them to become tangible, and that's where it's going all in on yourself, because you can't make them work and come to life by relying on somebody else. I can't rely on my kids to make my dreams come true. They make certain dreams of mine come true, but they can't make all of my dreams come true. I can't rely on my husband to make all of my dreams come true. He does fit in different spaces, but they're not his his full dreams are not my full dreams. And so there's not it those wouldn't come to reality if I'm waiting for him to, or my kids to do those things to make those come to reality. I have to go all in on myself in making those come to reality and come to fruition. And again, whether that's an investment in yourself, whether that's an investment in a business, investment is a big word, and it's kind of a scary word at times, but that's what it is. You're investing, whether it's time, whether it's energy, whether it's monetarily, that's what you're doing. You're investing in your growth, you're investing in your dreams, you're investing in the person you want to be. And with January creeping right up into, I mean, it'll be here before we know it, that that's the time where you sit down and write resolutions. I actually have written my resolutions already. They've changed a little bit. I started writing them in November, and they've changed a little bit, but I'm getting my resolutions done before 2023, because I'm not looking at the start of the new year being a fresh slate for me. I want now to be that slate for me, so that I'm not in that um same pattern as what it feels like the rest of the world is, where um the statistic is that there's actually a holiday, and I believe it's January 17th is when everybody quits their resolutions that they chose on January 1st. Um, because most of those thoughts are, your resolutions are just things you've written down just to get out. You're not really, those aren't really personal to you, and those aren't things that you're actually going for. So work on those, start those now, so that you can kick into 2023 strong going forward. That's going to be our next episode in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about ending 2022 strong and moving into 2023 already on a high path, on that higher plane and that higher path. So think about those resolutions. Take the time now. And now is when you're going to see a bunch of deals, things going through, mine included. If to my course included, of becoming a leading lady, that's it's it's time to take that moment to really sit down and think where you want to be, and are you willing to go in on all in on yourself and investing on yourself to get to where you want to be and to reach those goals in 2023 rather than sitting and saying, I wish, I wish I would have. I wish I had blah. I wish this, or I really want blah, but I can't have it because I'm not there. Start now, go all in on yourself as a parent, as an individual. Take the time now to put yourself first. Be selfish enough to know that what you're doing now and investing in yourself now is going to trickle down the line and actually be something really great for leaving a legacy for your kids, leaving a legacy for your family, leaving your own personal legacy that you want to leave on the world. Take the time now to jump in and invest in yourself and get going before 2023 starts so that you're on that high path. Take the time and find that thing that is really going to push you forward into the new year and going strong. Hop in 2 weeks and we'll finish 2022 together really strong and jump into 2023. Thank you so much for being here. Start thinking about those goals because we're going to talk about them next in 2 weeks. But thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a happy holiday season. And you are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. Please send in comments, things you want to learn about. I'd love to know also what going all in on yourself means to you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, you are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. And I'll see you next time.